Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing good. Today's video is a very short one. I'm going to be showing you 3 different ways of gathering tulle without a gather's foot. Okay, I've also tried several methods, and these 3 methods, you know what, they are the best. Okay, and after watching this video, I'm very sure that at least 1 or even 2, even the 3 will work for you. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you this methods on my domestic and my industrial machine. All right, some work on the domestic machine and don't work on the industrial machine, and vice versa. Okay, so come along guys. So first I'll be showing you the 3 methods on my domestic machine, but the first thing I want you to know is that I'll be increasing the stitch length of my machine to the highest, which is 4 here, and also I'll be increasing the tension of my machine, okay, to the highest, which is 9 on this machine. Okay, so that's the first thing you should do on your machine as well. So the first method I'm going to show you is the highest stitch length and the highest tension method. Okay, and also the stitch you'll be using is a straight stitch. Okay, so on my machine it is A. All right, so what you have to do is to put your machine on the highest stitch length and on the highest tension, and then you put your tulle under your foot, put your presser foot down, and then you pedal, and that is it. So as you pedal, you see that the gathers begin to form. That is just it. Can you see it? So that is just the method. There is nothing more than that. Okay, but what I observed is that the gathers is not usually as tight, not usually as full as the other 2 methods that I'm going to show you. So can you see the result? So by the way, I'm actually using 2 layers of tulle here. You can use more than 2 layers. Okay, so guys, do you see the gathers? Okay, so for you it might be full enough, and for you it might not be full. Okay, so what you have to do is to ensure that you pull out enough thread from your machine before you cut it. Okay, so that you can adjust it. All right, so you can increase the fullness or you can reduce it, okay, as you wish. So now let's go to the second method. On my domestic machine, the second method is the pull method. All right, so here I'm also working with 2 layers of tulle. Okay, so the only difference between the first method and the second method is that here we'll be putting our hands to use. Okay, my stitch length and my tension is still on the highest. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to pull this top thread. Okay, so here it is just as if I'll be regulating this top thread with my fingers. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is to pull on the top thread. Okay, just slightly. Okay, it is not going to be tight such that my thread will break. Okay, so just pull it. Okay, just like you're regulating it. Okay, and then you see the gathers is forming. Okay, can you see? So the only difference between this method and the first method is that the gathers here is actually fuller than the first method. Okay, you see my gathers are already forming. Do you see what I have? You see there's a difference between this and the first method I showed you. Okay, so when you're done gathering, okay, just pull out enough thread, okay, from the machine before you cut it out, so that you can adjust as you wish. Okay, if you want it fuller and if you want it less full. Okay, so the third method I'm going to show you is the zigzag method. Okay, so your machine has to have a zigzag foot and also a zigzag stitch type. Okay, so here I'll be using 4 layers of tulle for this method. Okay, so now here is the drill. Okay, let me move my camera closer a little. So put your tulle fabric under your presser foot. Okay, ensure that your presser foot is up, don't put it down yet. Okay, so what you're going to do is to look for your top thread and pull it, not tightly, just hold it, okay, with the other hand, and then you turn your hand wheel, okay, until it picks up the bottom thread. All right, so my bottom thread is blue. Okay, can you see it coming out? Okay, so now the bottom thread is out of the tulle. Okay, so can you see what I did? Okay, I used the top thread to pull out the bottom thread, so the bottom thread is now in between the tulle. Okay, can you see it? It is not under the presser foot. All right, did you get the logic? So now what I'm going to do next is to determine the length of the gathers that I want. Okay, so this tool is about 25 inches long, okay, but I want to gather it to 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is to pull out a thread that is not less than 10 inches, okay, because we're going to be doing zigzag. Okay, so I need to pull out my thread first. All right, do you get the logic? So if you're gathering a tool that is about 100 inches, for example, and you want to gather it to 20 inches, what you're going to do is to pull out a thread that is not less than 20 inches. Do you get it? So pull it out first before you start to sew. So the next thing I'm going to do is to change my stitch type to C, which is zigzag stitch. Okay, and then I'm going to put my presser foot down, and also I'm going to ensure that these two threads are actually between the presser foot. You see that space? Okay, so I'm going to ensure that they are inside that space, okay, because the zigzag has to go over them from the left to the right. They have to be in the middle of the zigzag, okay. So if your machine has a stitch width, that will be way better. You can just increase it, okay, so that you don't have to worry about if it will go over the thread, okay. So once you have done that, the next thing is to sew. All right, so the two threads are still in between the presser foot, and then I'm sewing, okay. So but the thing you have to do while sewing is that you have to hold those two threads, okay, and then you have to pull it slightly, okay, just a little, just pull it slightly, okay. Can you see the result? Okay, one thing I like about this method is that it is very strong, okay. So even if I have to pull or adjust the length of my gathers, okay, I'm not scared that the thread will break, okay. One other thing you need to know about the zigzag method is that never let go of those two threads, okay. Those two threads, never let go of them. All right, another thing is this: when you're sewing and the thread you're holding is almost finished, okay, but you still have a lot of tulle, what you have to do is just to pull the thread you're holding, okay, and then it adjusts itself, okay. As long as the thread that you pulled out before you started is the amount of thread that you want, is the amount of gathers you want, okay, you don't have to worry, okay. Just pull on that thread and then it adjusts itself, it gathers itself, okay. So you don't have to worry at all. All right, so now let's go to the industrial machine and then I'll show you this method as well. So the first method I'm going to show you here is the highest stitch length and the highest tension method, okay. So here I have increased my stitch length to the highest, and I've also increased my tension to the highest, okay. So it is very loose, okay, but can you see that it is not gathering? By the way, I'm actually using 4 layers of tulle, okay, but it is not gathering, okay. So what I'm doing again is to adjust the tension, the top tension, to see if it is going to form any gathers, okay, but it's not forming any gathers, okay. So this method doesn't work on my industrial machine, okay. I prefer to use it on my domestic machine. You can try it out on your own machine to see if it is going to work, okay. I'm not saying it is a no, it might work and it might not work, okay, but then I'm just adjusting the tension here to see if I'm doing anything wrong, okay. If you guys think I did something wrong, please let me know in the comments, okay. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. All right, so now I'm going to show you the second method, which is the pull method. So for the second method, I'm going to use the other side. You see this tool is not gathered, okay, so I can as well use it. All right, so I'm going to use the same tool for this experiment. So like we did on the domestic machine, I'm going to hold the top thread, okay. You see that orange thread? I'm going to hold it, just pull slightly, okay, and then I'm going to increase my tension, okay, and then my stitch length as well to the highest, okay. It is very, very loose, and then I'm going to start to sew, okay. You see, in no time the tulle has started to gather, okay, and the only thing I'm doing is just to hold the top thread. Okay, ensure it is not tight. All right, you see the gathers. The only thing is that you may have to hold this for a long time if you're going to be sewing a lot of tulle. Okay, so guys, these are the methods: the pull method, the highest tension method, and then the zigzag method. All right, you see the tulle, it is very well gathered, and then you can adjust it as well. All right, you know this machine doesn't have a zigzag stitch. Okay, so I cannot do the zigzag method here. Okay, so the only method that works on my industrial machine is the pull method. All right, so guys, what do you think? Don't you think gathering tools, making ruffle has now become fun? I told you. Also, please note that this method works for other fabrics too. Okay, it is not only tulle, as long as the fabric is not too thick. Okay, so guys, thank you for watching my tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel. Okay, see you in my next video. Keep on gathering, guys. Bye.